All right, testing 1 through sandwich. Seems to be recording. Hello. We have 1,000 hours left of recording space. That's great. Anyway, so I don't really have to lean in. I don't need the light. But it is very cold. But oh god, that's how you start a review. We just got out of seeing The Batman finally. I'm saying finally like it's been like 4 months or something. It's only been a week, but within the week, everyone's been like, oh my god, it's so good. And I'm like, shut the fuck up, I haven't seen it. Anyway, so we finally saw it. First thing, no one mentioned this fucking movie is 3 hours long. Not a complaint, but usually people, not me, other people would be like, oh my god, this thing is 3 hours long, because like we had talked about earlier, where it's like the runtime of Endgame had come out, and people were like, 3 hours, that's ridiculous. This movie comes out, no mention of the runtime. So that's why I was kind of like surprised that when I went to go buy the tickets, it's like, yeah, it's 2 hours and 56 minutes. I was like, what? No one, what? And I was like, okay, is this real? Go on IMDb. What? And there's like the movie times were literally like every theater was playing the movie, because it was we got up late, so it was like 12, 12:30, 1:30, 3:30, you know. Obviously there was like that also explains why the Dolby thing only had 3 showings instead of the usual like 4 to 5 or some shit. Yeah. There was one at 1 or some shit, or 12, and then there was the 3:30 one I wanted to get to, but there was like no seats. I mean, there were seats if you want to be all the way in the front for 3 hours, you know, like with the Lewis Black thing. They're like, scoliosis, I don't know what you're talking about, that's mad comfortable. All right, that bullshit aside, this movie was good. like we'll go into spoilers a little bit, but like this movie was good. It was
very good. Another win up for DC finally.
Cool. So they got Wonder Woman, Shazam, and this one.
Yep, pretty much.
And we were talking about this earlier.
They only get half a point for Aquaman. Sorry.
Yeah.
The only reason you get half of that is just because of Jason Momoa.
Just because of Jason Momoa. I mean, you're not wrong. And his dad's Boba Fett. It's the actor.
There you go.
And it's like, yeah, it's directed by James Wan, so at least you knew like there was some kind of competency, you know what I mean. Anyway, and yeah, like for the DC stuff, the last thing I watched with DC is the Snyder Cut, so you could kind of imagine, like, I 4 hours of the Snyder Cut, and like nothing happened, but then some things happened. Excuse me. And then this thing, 3 hours had gone by, and so much happened, as it should, you know. But it was just like, you know, it's like, Zack Snyder, come on, you had 4 hours to give me a movie, and you gave me just random scenes, you know. But this movie was like, we're gonna give you everything, you know, and they didn't bore it down. Like, one thing I have to very commend this movie on is they didn't show any boring parts. So you know how, like, this is not really a spoiler, there's like the scene where Alfred is like, hey, those investors are coming for breakfast, and then the lady is like, oh, those investors are here, and then we just jump to like the evening or something like that. Yep. They didn't bore you with like him trying to be a regular person. I'm Bruce Wayne. Like, you didn't have to see him go through meetings, you know, not like in the Nolan one. Or, you know, he's falling asleep at meetings. Like, we didn't have to see any of that. We could just kind of guess that he was obviously awkward and the usual Bruce Wayne shit, you know? Sorry, not to, like, change the subject, but that car is definitely not parked in the middle of that spot. Sorry. I looked over and I was like, which car is parked incorrectly? That one. Sorry. Because, like, the line is, like, 4 feet over there. Anyway, this has nothing to do with it. I just, like, looked over and I'm like, those 2 cars are parked way too close, and this is one of those like parking lots where like the spaces are actually like pretty good. Anyway, yeah, so they didn't there wasn't anything boring. So again, 3 hours didn't feel like 3 hours. Mm-hmm. You know, it was just like, hey, stuff, that car, stuff is happening. Yep. But stuff was happening, but it wasn't like, and stuff's happening. It's like
the tempo was very well put together.
That's what I was trying to say.
Consistent. The tempo was consistent.
It was good.
The whole movie.
But it also wasn't
when one actor was starting and the other actor.
But it also wasn't in the insane consistency where it was like, this whole movie was one action sequence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you remember that movie Battle Los Angeles? Do you remember
Yes,
that?
Battle for
That
Los Angeles.
Yeah, Battle Los Angeles with I think Michelle Rodriguez is in it and Aaron Eckhart's in it.
Mm-hmm.
That movie was literally one long action sequence. It was so loud and just it was just like like yeah.
Every 5 minutes I had something.
It was like and you're like, oh god, like I left it just like what, you know, like this one didn't do that. It's like you know, also the little bits of like comedy they threw in this was very good because it wasn't like comic relief character burp it, sorry, we just ate, nor was it like get it made of funny, because I hate when movies think like the audience is stupid, because it's like shut the fuck, you know,
just keep your opinions to yourself. You just fucking deliver your lines the way you wanted or intended to. Right. Don't placate to my fucking sensibilities. Let me figure it out.
Yeah. Just sorry. I'm like, is it? Sorry. I'm like, oh, I don't know why. I thought it was this thing that was in the, sorry. I thought it was like your phone holder that was in the way of the light. No, it's just that because you're taller, so you're sat back, and I'm just pale, so you could definitely see me first. But anyway, anywho, besides that, yeah, so this movie was good. That, like, I'm glad they got the cinematographer for Rogue One to do this, because, you know, there's like the joke of it, but yeah, this movie is very dark. Like, visually, it's very dark.
But you can actually see.
Yeah. It's not like what's happening right now with you.
That's the irony here.
Yeah. But yeah, it wasn't like that one episode of Game of Thrones where, like, no one knew what the fuck was happening.
Someone turn the light on!
Pretty much. You know, and again, like I said, like, they had to use people were using the Battle of Helm's Deep, and people were like, oh, but where's that light coming from? And it's like, none of your damn business where that light's coming from. Exactly. Shut up. Okay, where's the score coming from then, huh?
That's what I'm saying.
Shut up, Tiffany, you know? Anyway, but yeah, this one, the usage of light is really good. And again, because I said, it's from the guy who did the cinematography for Rogue One. So he had, like, there was a scene, again, not spoilers, so I'm not really specifying which scene, but there is, like, a scene where it is kind of like the Vader hallway scene, you know, where it's very dark and there's only like one source of light. The cinematographer is very good at that, you know. One of my buddies was like, oh, do you think this is like a new Roger Deakins? And I'm like, I can't say someone's another Roger Deakins, because Roger Deakins is very like you see his movies he's worked on, you're like, that's him. You know, this guy, I could still tell his stuff, but it's just like he's good. I'm not denying that, but like to be like Roger Deakins, I'm like, no offense, bro, but Roger Deakins, you know, like it's one of those things where it's like, it's like back in the day where like, oh, we got ourselves another Spielberg, you know, kind of thing. It's like saying that, you know. Definitely. But yeah, visually it's good. The acting was great. I like that
top notch from everybody.
I like that there were
guys and bad guys alike.
Yeah, I like that at one point there were some lines that were kind of like, I don't want to say bad, but they were kind of just like, oh, okay. But the fact that everyone played it super straight, I was like, all right, I'll just believe you. You know what I mean? Because some lines I'm like, you could play that line and then like hit a laugh track and it would have a completely different feel to it. You know? But I was fine with it. The audience was pretty well behaved. I was a little worried because of the young kids behind us, because they were just like, maybe they theater hopped, and I don't care. But like when we got there, they're like, "Oh, is this for Batman?" And I was like, "No, this is for Hello Kitty Party Island." I'm like, "The fuck?" And they just like, they didn't like that I said that back to them, and I'm just like, because like if you have to ask, it's like, well, did you buy tickets? You know, like a part of me's like I almost said that. I almost want to be like, well, did you actually buy tickets? But I'm like, not that I would snitch, but I also like to scare children, so that's probably what I would
scare them straight.
Yeah.
Stay in school, you little shits.
Hold my pocket. You gotta hold my pocket. You gotta be my bitch. There was like the one where the guy had the young boy you know, feel up his taco meat. It was so funny.
From my chest.
Yeah.
Little nigga.
He literally like opened up his like prison jumpsuit, had his taco meat out, and the little white boy was like, and I'm like, what am I witnessing? my pocket. Now use my bitch. And they're like, what? Yeah, you're 12. Fucking eat your vegetables. Jesus Christ. Exactly. Go play some Fortnite. Oh, wait, no. That was back in the day before I know those games. Modern Warfare 2. That was during that time. Anyway. Back to Batman. Anyway. Okay, I guess let's go into spoilers since we've talked about how good it is. Now I'm kind of like, what kind of spoilers are we going into? Oh, I like that they didn't do, like a flashback sequence. Because when
no real flashback.
Because when Bruce looked at the little boy, it wasn't like flashback to it. Oh no, the mom's pearls falling thing, the usual stuff. I like that they didn't do it. It's just they focus on the two characters, and you already knew. You didn't need to be told. Again, the audience isn't stupid. You didn't need to be told that he's obviously thinking of himself. That kind of stuff. I like that. I like how smart that was. Again, I love how this Riddler was written. In that very just chaotic okay, I got the riddles, but also oh god, finally that burp came out. Jesus, 7 years later. But also he looks, it fits him because he has that look of that dopey dorky guy that you probably work with at the office kind of stuff. He probably is nice and has asked you, maybe if you want to get a coffee later, and you're kind of just you blew him off. And then he's just I'm on 4chan building bombs because, fuck, and you're like, ah, it's and the FBI has been watching him this whole time, you know what I'm saying?
But they waited too long, and now the motherfucker's a real national threat.
Well, I mean, that's kind of on par, Anyway, not to go into that. But yeah, I like how this was written. And it was Paul, you're Paul, but he's also Paul. It's played by Paul Dano, which when I heard that he got cast as Riddler, at first I was like, really? Because again, Riddler is very just kind of most of the time, not all the time, a little bit more on the flamboyant side. Again, I'm not saying specifically Jim Carrey, but just to kind of use that as a base, very much kind of a little kooky, I do, because the whole thing is supposed to be I'm the Riddler, silly, goofy, but then the Joker is supposed to be the more blah, 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 blah guy. Whereas this one, he's just the boys behind us didn't understand why there was that that whole thing, and I'm because you're supposed to be him. It's called perspective. Jesus Christ, watch more movies, children. Jesus, oh my god. I loved his character and his take on the Riddler. Yeah. I also love that he has that mask. He's supposed to be intimidating, and he's got his big old hunk-a-chunk glasses. That's what I love too, where he's just it's I want everyone dead, but I also have astigmatism, that kind of stuff. That was so funny. My astigmatism, oh, my glasses, Right, sorry. Bitch. That startled me. All right. But, anyway, yeah, so I like that. He didn't know that the Penguin was played by Colin Farrell.
No,
you had no idea.
You
thought they just hired a big fat Italian guy, and not pretty boy Colin Farrell.
Did not expect that at all.
Yeah, that's just well, before I saw the makeup pictures, and it was Colin Farrell's gonna be the Penguin, and I was a pretty boy Penguin, can we not? And then I saw the makeup, and I was what the fuck? It's those dudes. That's English. The guys we saw at Monsterpalooza, they're located here in Jersey. They did Coming to America too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so obviously.
Good job, guys.
Yeah.
Top notch.
Yeah, it was good shit. I mean, you can't see Colin Farrell in it at all.
No. That had me in complete disbelief.
And they put him in a fat suit and all. They just you don't know it's Colin Farrell. There were a couple of times where some words he said, I was oh, that's Colin Farrell. But most of the time, it's I didn't even realize it was him. Zoey Kravitz was fine. I mean, not that I didn't have high expectations of her, as if I didn't think she was gonna be good, but I wasn't. My concern wasn't her, and again, it's not an offense towards her, but it was just it's you're fine. I'm not worried about you kind of thing. Right. Same thing with Robert Pattinson. I was fine. when I heard that he was gonna be cast as Batman, I was like, fuck it. You know, I was just like, fuck it. And also because it's a younger Batman, so that's another thing. This movie is him. I can speak. It's him in his second year of being, the Batman and all that stuff. So
it means very little tech.
Yeah.
No bat computer.
Yeah, no bat computer. Yeah.
He's still honing his detective skills.
Right.
Some very important things.
Right.
To understand.
Well, that's also the thing that I was kind of excited because you get to see a more like raw, brutal Batman. Because he hasn't he has this like Batman code, but not fully. Mm-hmm. So of course he wasn't gonna allow Selina to like murk someone. He's not okay with guns and da-da-da and all that stuff. But
like he'll get these hands, nigga.
Yeah.
Gonna get these hands.
That opening scene was good. Like there was a not backlash, but there's like some criticism about that opening scene, mainly because the victim in it was an Asian guy, and because of all the stuff that's been happening recently. God, so people were
they're a bunch of jokers.
Yeah, so
a bunch of clowns. Literally, they're walking around the train with clown masks, makeup on, fucking up random bystanders.
And it's like
you're not supposed to care what race the fucker is. All you're supposed to focus on
the victim the victim, not the people. No, the victim being Asian, because a lot of Asians have been victimized in the past like couple of years.
There's that. There's probably checking off boxes for that. But at the same time,
I didn't like
I said in the theater, he was stupid. It's like
if I see a group of people, I'm moving the next car.
People like that. One, you should have moved to the next car, like you just said, and two, take the long way home.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Or you do the thing where you sit, and the moment goes boom, boom. You just go out before they can catch. Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know, man. Like,
that's critical thinking right there. Which
I used to travel to Brownsville, so I definitely know how that's like. Just to say, God, stupid things to do. And it's all, but also like not to be like I am like the spokesman of all Asian people or anything. But for me, I didn't think of it. Well, I thought of it while the scene was happening because I heard of the commotion about it, but. Because I knew I was watching a Batman movie, I knew it was a way to show that, like, I knew the guy wasn't going to get hurt.
Right.
Like, he wasn't going to, he might get a little battered and stuff, but I knew he wasn't going to get hurt because it's a Batman movie, and what does Batman do? He helps people. Mm-hmm. Because this is, again, in the beginning of the movie, where he's doing the whole, like, you think I'm in every, shadow and da-da-da, and stuff like that.
Doing his monologue.
Yeah, I do like that they did do the voiceover narration thing, because it's very akin to like some of the old comics, and definitely how it had like a feel of the animated series to me, and that's like my bread and butter. My you
felt like you were on like a stakeout. You're like here's where we are, and where we need to be eventually is that way, and you go through the whole process, beginning, middle, and end, with Batman.
Right.
Through the whole movie,
I really like that. And also, they didn't overuse the narration. It wasn't just like every little thing of like, my gadgets, I use this for this, I use it. It wasn't like that kind of stuff. It was just kind of like, it came in when it needed to, like, via either exposition or some other stuff, but it wasn't like, oh god, here we go again with like, because have you ever watched like a movie that had narration like that, and when the narration would kick in, you're like, oh god, here we go again, you're just like, oh god, what is it now, oh god, Jesus, shut up. Great, okay, hopefully, well, that picked up in the mic. That's a great noise. I think because I posted saying I saw the Batman, now everyone wants to talk to me about it, and I was just like, give me a minute. Anyway, yeah, I think that was great. When he had to go out as Bruce Wayne, it was good to see like the I guess you would say the duality of it, of the duality of man kind of thing.
Exactly.
Where he's Batman, he's standing up straight, he's like blah, 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 I'm blah, 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 he's Batman. Okay, not Christian Bale. It just sounds like sausages are just falling out of your mouth. But this one, and then when he's like Bruce Wayne, he's just kind of like, I'm a little awkward. Mm-hmm. Hey, his voice is like, it's low, but it's like, hey, so can I see so-and-so? All right, yeah. But when he's Bruce Wayne, he's like, hey, but it's not that, but it's still like, it's it's low and there's a little gruff to it, like, no, we can't do this, instead of, and then when he's Bruce Wayne, again, just like how Kevin Conroy does his Batman voice, where Bruce Wayne is just, that's just Kevin Conroy.
And then
Batman, he's like,
a few octaves
right, and he's just like, and I love the whole, like, I'm vengeance thing, because, dude, when the trailer dropped and he says, I'm vengeance, and all of us screamed. We're like, he's the thing! You know, like, yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah, so, I'm so happy this didn't suck.
Seriously.
Because when, was it Batman v Superman dropped, and they were like, oh, well, we gotta have a standalone Batman movie, and I was like, I don't want to see any more Ben Affleck Batman, and I don't want to see his Batman, because I don't give a fuck, you know? And then the movies did horrible, and then Ben Affleck's like, I don't want to do this anymore, you know? And then they decided, okay, let's move on, and then they did, and it was for a good thing, because this was decent. We needed this.
DC, you desperately needed this.
You needed
You've
this.
Been getting your ass kicked.
Ass handed to you. Yeah.
For the last 3 decades almost. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Because the fucking...
Get it together, Smalls.
Because the second Wonder Woman movie was just not good. Like, it wasn't just, you know... Like, oh God, Masami and I have talked extensively about the second Wonder Woman movie, but it's one of those things where it's like, it's not just because it's like, oh, I had high hopes. It was just like, you watch it and you're like, I feel like, again, it's like when we went to go see the 2019 Hellboy movie, where you're like, all right, let's just put this on, and we're like, oh, like, all right, you know.
Yeah, seriously.
Jesus Christ. Like, what else? What else is there? Again, I just really liked it. We mentioned it when we were having dinner. I like that he had the adrenaline shit.
Yeah, the adrenaline shot. Get him back into the fight.
Or when he passed out and the cops were like, oh, let's get this mask off of him, and he's like, you know?
He wakes up and just starts kicking ass.
Yeah.
And everybody's like trying to fight him, but then they all jeer like they're going to, but no one really does except for the one dude.
I like how they're like, you're gonna get blah, 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 blah. What's the line he said? He's like, oh, you're gonna get for like assaulting a police officer. He's like, get me for 3. I was like, yes. He's like, you know.
Exactly.
I love that one cop, like, in that beginning scene where he like walks through, and then that one cop is like, put his hand on his head. He's like, whoa, where you going, buddy? Mm-hmm. You 6 foot tall guy, and I'm 5'7", you know. And it was funny because then you saw in the funeral scene, he's like, it's Bruce Wayne! Like, and then in the theater, his ass
really,
fucking...
Dude? Like,
yeah, in the theater, his ass just blurts out, oh, you sucking my dick now?
Exactly. It's like, oh, you all on my dick now, huh?
They're like...
But for some reason, when I'm Batman, it's just like, yo, fuck you, son. You see me as Bruce Wayne? Hey, Bruce, how you doing? Like, we've been buddies for mad fucking long. Nigga, I don't know you. The fuck out of here. Keep that same energy.
Well, then, like, he had his, like, little redemption thing when they were in the Riddler's apartment.
Oh, God.
And I guess it wasn't really, like, redemption. He was just kind of there making sure Batman wasn't, like, touching too much shit. But then he realized, like, oh, wait, Batman actually knows what he's doing. Surprise! The greatest detective... you know, even though
something else that you slow ass cops couldn't figure out.
Right,
no surprise there.
You gave him the clue. Oh, that's a carpet thingy to tuck carpet in. He's like, tucking carpet, you know what I mean? Like, immediately, bam. You know, and I was telling him earlier that I like when Batman was figuring out the Riddler's riddles, that it wasn't like the long string of like how he connected the dots. Like, it's like, here's the riddle, and they're like, oh, it's that, instead of being like toothpicks, go with cheese cubes, the Cheesecake Factory, you know, like, it wasn't like, then it's like, oh, and that's why Martha Stewart cooks with Snoop Dogg, and it was like, you know what I mean? Like the old, like, Adam West, you know, one where they were like trying to make they did that in Batman Forever with Jim Carrey's thing when he had the clue, and it was like the thing of like figure out who it was. They're like, oh, everything. They're like, they're like, what's a mystery? Or like, oh, Mr. E. Oh, say it faster. He's like, mystery. Oh, it's like, what's another word for mystery? He's like, enigma. He's like, that's it, Edward Nigma. And it's like, oh God, shut up. Like, it was like, even when I was a child watching that in theaters, I was like, that's kind of dumb, you know? Yeah. And I like that they didn't go like hokey kind of stuff with this one.
They kept it serious.
They played it straight. It was really good. You know,
it was done very well. Like I said, all the acting on all sides were great.
Yeah, I really liked it. Oh, the Batmobile. Because I was like, wait, we gotta get in the car and talk about this.
Yes,
the Batmobile
is sexy.
And they had like the NOS and shit.
Mm-hmm. And that jet engine in the back with that blue flame sticking out. Ooh, so pretty.
And then when he like tried to scare them by like going up like, 5 feet and they're like, oh, we gotta go, blah. And then the thing where like it was like that car chase and all that shit. And then like the Penguin was laughing. He's like, you're blah, blah, blah. And then his car just like ramps over and it was like, oh.
You just seen the instant horror in his face, like, what the fuck?
Shitted and farted all over himself.
Just sharted.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. Like, yeah, you just might, you little bitch.
Oh, it was great. And I love that just because then he like walks out of the car and they kept the shot up like upside down so you're in Penguin's perspective. And he's just like walking over. You know,
with
and the
slow pace and a bop.
Oh my God, like, so good.
You're caught in my clutches right now.
I love that there's always a lot of shots of his boots when he's walking. Like again, like the beginning shot when he was in that the mayor's home. Mm-hmm. Then like when he's approaching him and the fire thing. Like because always like it's the thing of like, well, it's Batman. He's stealth. So if he's making sound, he wants you
to hear it.
To hear that he's coming. Yeah. So that makes it even better, exactly. You know? Yeah.
Normally, when he's rolling up on you, it's way too late.
Right. And you wouldn't know anyway, you know, because it's Batman. Because even that scene in that thingy when they were figuring out, like, oh, God, the next victim is Bruce Wayne. Mm-hmm. And then, like, Gordon was like, what? The fuck did he go? I'm glad they put that in because like that's what Batman does.
That's what he does. Like you never know when he leaves.
Or like the
you don't even feel him coming.
Right. Or the I was about to say you know what the anyway. Ladies. I like the scene where Gordon goes up to the bat signal light and then you start hearing Batman's voice mm-hmm. and then he just kind of walks out between like a pillar mm-hmm. and then like I love how like the two women next to me mm-hmm. were like, oh, like I was like, you heard him before you saw him. Why did that surprise you? I don't know, maybe because they thought that was like a voiceover for like a next scene or something. But like he's like talking, then he like comes out from the shadows, and they were like, oh, I'm like, why did that? Oh, okay. I was like, whatever, ladies. Yeah. Like I said, I had fun watching that movie. Again, it didn't feel like 3 hours. Those kids behind us behaved better than I thought. They were still a little annoying from time to time, but they were tolerable, you know, especially because I remember thinking like, God, this is gonna be the longest 3 hours. Jesus Christ. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Like it felt like Batman, you know, like sorry, but like whatever the hell Zack Snyder did with Batman did not feel like Batman. No. It felt like a joke. Like, it felt like a joke. Yeah. Like, it's just, I'm sorry, that's just not the Batman I know and love and grew up with and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
even though it may not be conducive to what people think of when they talk about Batman.
Right.
He likes cops because he believes in justice.
Right. But he doesn't like crooked cops.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's why he
doing your job right.
Yeah.
He's all the way for you, but if you're doing it fucked up and doing it wrong, he's coming for you.
Well, that's why when he said to Gordon, he's like, you're a good cop, you know, that kind of stuff. Yeah. But all the other ones, you know.
There it is.
It was kind of funny to see him slap some cops around. I was just like, oh,
especially the one that tried to touch his fucking mask. He's just like, yo, take it off me.
Oh, speaking of his suit, I like that his bat symbol was useful,
right?
You know, because like
you just took off the one wing and used it as
slice,
a blade,
and then he took it off as like a full batarang to cut the electricity. He's like, you know, the shock and all that stuff. But again, this is younger Batman. the older, more well-known, Batman, his shit would have been fine. Like, he could like touch a live wire. He could like lay down on the third rail and just be like, I don't feel a thing. You know what I mean? Like, again, the whole touching the mask thing, like in The Dark Knight, where they try to do that and he got shot, like the criminal got shocked. It's like, yeah, I saw a post that was like, why does Batman need to show that like half of his face, like, if you're gonna fight, like, why don't you just cover your whole face? And someone said, so the cops know he's white, so they don't shoot him. Because if you think about it, if he had the full thing...
That's fair. That's fair.
Because you think about it, unless he's wearing the...
Self-preservation, sure.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Because you think about it, unless he has the full mask, he's going around, Mary, I would like a cheese sandwich. Like, it's like not gonna happen.
Seriously.
Yeah.
There's some trigger-happy people out there.
Yeah.
Especially in this world with the
shit that's happening, yeah.
Yep.
But,
I want to go to Ukraine and help them fight. What? Sit your dumb ass down. You ain't going nowhere.
Oh, and it's always like, I don't have any previous training. Of course you don't. You played COD. Like, Jesus Christ. What else? Words and phrases. Oh, you were saying with like the new mayor, where she was like, no one wants to stand up and
yeah. It's like new guy comes in. Oh yeah, this is the problem with the city. Nobody wants to stand up and fight. Goes out on stage, sees the bad guys with the guns, gets her ass shot, and then she's quiet after that. It's like, yeah, bitch, like, this is the reason why they was telling you to get the fuck out of there. Mm-hmm. Like, you ain't dealing with, like, no nonsense people. Like, these are deranged motherfuckers. Like, have no problem putting some hot ones up in your dome piece. Like, what's wrong with you?
I like that. At the end, and after all the carnage and stuff, like, Batman moved like some stuff, and he's like, let me help you out, and she was still very hesitant to reach her hand out until the little boy reached his hand out, and then she was the second person, and he made sure she was okay. And then you even saw like the crowd on the roof, like the one person who like grabbed onto him and wouldn't let go, and he's like, and
she was all scared, and
she was like, ah! And he's like, bitch, let go of me. Bitch, let go of me.
That was like me when I did that slide thing I told you about. The lady who was like definitely afraid to go down the slide.
Oh.
She's holding on to me for dear life. And I'm like, Ma, like, you got to go down the slide, right? She's like, you go down with me? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll go down with you. But like in my head, I'm thinking like, how did you get up here?
That's why
you're definitely scared now, definitely afraid now. How did you get up here?
That's why I always wait for you at the bottom. Like, dude, have fun. I'll be over there. I'll be at the exit waiting for you, dude.
So literally had this lady clinged on to me like a fucking cat. Like I was wearing her like a backpack, basically. She's in a bikini. I'm wearing her like a backpack. Like,
I'm like,
chest on my neck, literally.
Ma'am, I don't even know you, but thank you.
Waist.
Oh my God!
I'm not joking. Like, scared.
Jesus Christ.
And like you said, I don't even know this woman. You know what I'm saying?
But thank you, I guess.
Yeah, like that's how we had to go down the slide. But
Jesus Christ.
At that point in the movie, he was being a reflection of understanding like what it is he really means to the city. You know what I'm saying? He thought he was going to be one thing and ended up becoming something else. Why? Because like if you're trying to hold true to all those things and morals that you say that you're going to realize real quick that there's bad faith actors who are going to take what you say and use and do bad things with it. Like the guys with the guns who said, oh yeah, I'm vengeance. And then he's like, wait, that was my line.
He's like, you're not vengeance. Yeah. You're like some dumbass shit,
Exactly.
Yeah, like
but then that's when you have to understand in yourself, like you have to grow.
Yeah. Oh my God, it was. Yeah, I love how, what was it like the news copter? They're like, there's the mass vigilante. The mass vigilante is on the roof. Could you believe that? That kind of stuff. And I was like, all right, guys, And I like how it ended because him and Catwoman just kind of split ways to do their thing.
Yeah,
because that could be this could be a possible thing of the sequel, or they're just separated forever, whatever. However, we're gonna move on.
Those open-ended sequel baiting.
I mean, that's better because then that keeps it open-ended than like of course, the first thing that comes to my head is The Last Airbender, which is like the sister smiling. It's like, who the fuck is this bitch? Standing outside the Star Wars window. Movie ends. What? I want my money back, you know?
Well, not only that.
I know, that's like the worst example of sequel baiting, but yeah, like, Jesus Christ.
That movie could have been so much
better.
That
movie was amazing. I don't know what you're talking about, dude.
That
M. Night Shyamalan is an amazing director. I don't know what you're talking about.
For Devil. I liked him in Devil.
Yeah, Devil was great.
Devil was great, but...
Because I guessed who the devil was. And
I did too. I knew who it was from the jump.
No one believed me. And then they were like, oh, no. See, look, she died. And then when she got back up, I was like, what did I say?
Exactly.
Don't trust old white women.
At all. Like, people forget, like, that's the age of the people who were literally throwing shit at the first kids to go through segregation schools.
Yeah.
Like, that's their age now.
Yeah.
Like, fuck out of here.
They're like, I don't understand why the Chinese gotta use... I'm sorry.
Go ahead, let me out.
No, that's a line. That's like a joke from Game Grumps. Or like, it was a game they were playing. There was like an old lady. They're like, and then Aaron just suddenly goes, I don't understand why the Chinese has to use. Why can't they use forks and spoons like the rest of us? And Danny is just dying. Like, I'll show you that clip one day. It's like out of nowhere. Like, anyway, yeah. Well, you know how some people are. It's different. I don't like it. Kill it. Oh.
Oops.
Yeah.
That was a human being?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
That's why when we road trip down south, I kept my damn mouth shut during those rest stops because I was like, I am a target and I rather not be. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that stuff aside. We talked about this before, but like the explosions in the movies were really good because they were very impactful explosions. Yes. They weren't just like, oh my God, 3, 2, 1, and then they just show like the actor jumping and then the windows exploding. They actually showed the explosion happening on the actor and then they did outside, which I think that was a little bit more smarter.
Yes.
With really showing the impact, you know, of like how bad it is.
Right.
Yeah, I was worried that they killed off Alfred. I was worried.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's not.
I was like, no, you need the balance.
Yes.
Alfred keeps like, Batman in check.
Yeah, that's his moral compass.
Yeah.
You know?
And also, he's like the only family he has left, you know? So, like, if he doesn't have him...
Then you get the Batman who carries 245s.
Yeah.
Without Alfred, that's when you have the Batman who has 245s and sees nothing but red and you're dead.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's, like, crazy. What else?
What's up with that guy who they had at the very end with Joker? Like, this was obviously going to be Joker. Like, you saw the face. It was they were really just grotesque face.
Well, in like the later comics, because I told you, like, once that New 52 stuff went out, like, I don't really read a lot of the current stuff. Just because I'm like, I have the Batman I like, and then I'm just like, I'm going to be that person where I'm like, I love Batman, but I'm just going to keep it here in the mid-90s with the animated series, you know? But in the later comics, the Joker, whatchamacallit, there's, like, the one where it's kind of like oh my God, I can't think of the thing. So kind of like Leatherface, where he wears someone else's face. Like, this Joker, like, wore someone else's face. That's why, like, the face would be stretched out and da-da-da. I don't know if they're going for this one, because all you see is just some guy who kind of is, like, a little haggard looking, you know? And then, like, we all knew it was going to be the Joker, because then he was like, oh, like a clown. You know, he said that. Although I did like that he wasn't trying to be... Okay, my issue is whenever people try to do it like the Joker, especially how many iterations of Joker we've had. So a lot of people try so hard to imitate Mark Hamill's Joker, and it's like, Mark Hamill's just good at it. No,
because his laugh is iconic.
Yeah,
you can't follow.
And then there's
if you ain't got that in you, then don't even try.
And then later there's people who like try to do the Heath Ledger Joker who's like, we're really gonna fuck you up, like that kind of shit. And then it's like, all right, asshole, like fucking go, you know, drink a Monster and punch some, you know, fucking, you know,
go
drywall.
Do some reps.
Yeah, and then you got like the creepy Reddit guys who want to be like the Jared Leto Joker, and who's like, guess what? They call me Daddy Dom, and it's like, no, you're an abusive fuck. Stop touching women, So this one was just like some guy. I don't know. I'll have to look up who it is because I have no idea.
He knows how to play it and stroke the ego of a fucking sociopath because he had.
Oh yeah, Riddler was like we're besties now. Yeah, they were able to do that. Yeah, I love how the kids behind us were like, "Yo, it's the Joker. Yo, it's the Joker. It's Joker." No, it's Two-Face. Why would it be Two-Face? Why would it be Two-Face? At any point did we talk about Harvey Dent? When does Harvey Dent come out? Later, bitches.
Exactly.
That's why Selena is younger. That's because Bruce is younger. Like, there's certain things where it has to work in a timeline thing.
Exactly. It's a chain of events. Like, he didn't take on apprentices until later on. Yeah. When shit was getting real.
Yeah. Yeah. The Bat family didn't, like, develop into this huge ass fucking, family tree until, like, much later on. Mm-hmm. And we don't talk about his son because I don't like the addition of his kid because he's fucking annoying, Well, I told you about what movie was it? One of the animated movies. I think it's called, like, Batman, like, it was, like, Son, I don't know. It's one of them where Damian Wayne, who is Batman's son, straight up looks at Dick Grayson and says, well, you're not even his real son. And the fact that Dick Grayson didn't just launch the kid into the fucking stratosphere, I'm like, bitch! Yo, he said that. I'm looking at the movie like, oh, Dick, you got to do something. And he didn't. And I'm like, Dick Grayson! Come on!
Well, he's leading by his father's example.
I know.
It's but just not easy. It's not easy. Yeah, I agree.
Because
I agree. On Gang, he should have been like launched the nigga.
But also, if you think about it, because it's Dick Grayson, he held it together. But if it was Jason Todd,
oh yeah,
wow, Jason Todd would have fucking like launched him out the fuck.
You'd have seen the hood come on and the 45s come out.
Yeah,
like, what you said, nigga?
Yeah.
Do we have a problem? Huh? Like,
for real though, yeah.
D Eagles in his face. Like, what? The fuck you said, little nigga? You know what I'm saying?
Are they gold too? Like just to add like the effect of ridiculousness, God.
Like he just pulls those out for threats, like not even to really use.
Yeah. They're unloaded, but he can load them up like real quick if he wanted to. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That one, like just like I get it. The reason why they added the son in and all that stuff, and like the dynamic to cause friction in the Bat family because it's it's like the thing of like, well, everyone's getting along too well and we need to throw a wrench in it to cause something. So what would be a better thing than like someone who's family and you can't get rid of them?
I got it.
A little child. Mm-hmm. Oh, something I always wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Not. Yeah. Anyway, we're just like delving into Batman lore. But yeah, again, that's fine. They have the Joker. That's fine. You know what I mean? Like it's timeline wise kind of makes sense around like, the whatever, And I feel like I kind of don't want them to do Joker just because they've done Joker, because again, Heath Ledger did really well and Jared Leto exists, like
that's his main villain though. So
I know, but it's also like
it's because it's been done so much. I get it,
and it also just been shit. It's just also because we go to Comic-Con. That's why. So I just don't want to see any more of these fucking dudes.
Trust me,
I just don't want to see any dudes anymore.
Thing I definitely want to put in is like how well developed and the world was of like the villains.
Yeah.
Interconnected everybody. Like you've seen Falcone
with the Penguin,
heard about Marconi and all the other old school guys, and how like all these newer guys are basically gonna be the ones who take over the city,
right?
And like basically how they just wiping the old world down to just make room for all the would be new big bads that would come later on.
Yeah.
Like Joker, like Riddler, like Penguin, you know what I'm saying? Who like at this time is just like a low to mid-tier guy who is running a few clubs or running a club where everybody, all the big dogs come to hang out at, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like he's just playing his part in a thing. whereas the later on he's running the whole show himself.
Of course, yeah.
You know, so I liked seeing that stuff.
Yeah. When I was little, I was really scared watching Batman Returns because when the Penguin would bite that guy's nose, it freaked me the fuck out. I was like, oh my god! Also, it's like, you know, you grew up knowing who Danny DeVito is as, like, you know, the dad from, like, Matilda or whatever, you know, like, they're like, oh, Danny DeVito, he's a nice man, and then he's like, the Penguin, he's like, and you're like, ah! You know?
Yeah, they went real deep with that whole Penguin thing for that one.
Then they had
the deformed
those
hands.
huge ass penguins. Yeah, you know, yeah.
Like his body was just all weird shaped.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's what I normally look like.
Definitely not, but sure, whatever.
Just very round in the middle.
Was he eating like really weird shit in that movie?
He was eating like raw fish, like he was an actual penguin. Yeah,
that was just like not okay.
Because he was deformed. That's why he had like the thing. Like that one, he's like deformed. This one, he's got like a limp to him. You know,
he's got a limp, the scar on his face.
Yeah, very good makeup. Jesus Christ, still like that's Colin Farrell. Yeah, I again enjoyed the fuck out of that, you know, like that was a really fun movie. The use of lighting in that movie was so good because again it was dark, but you could
actually see.
You
could go figure. You could actually fucking see. Yeah. Go figure.
I told you there was that freaking I have to find it on my phone. There's like some movie theater had to post up a thing saying like we're not gonna give you a refund because it's a dark movie and you can't see. Let me see if I can find the screenshots. Can I find? Is it in screenshots or is it someone? Oh, I guess I don't have it in screenshot. Anyway, it pretty much was saying like, this is a dark movie. We've been notified by the studio that it's a dark movie, so we will not give you a refund because you can't see the darkness. And that got me a little worried, but I didn't hear anyone complaining about it. Like, people, like, memed about it, but they didn't complain about it like they complained about the sound in Tenet, you know? So I was like, okay. And then I'm seeing the movie, and I'm like, oh, this is fine. Yeah. Again, the fucking, you know, Batman v Superman thing, the fight between, obviously, Batman and Superman, and it was dark, and you couldn't see anything. All you heard is, Martha, blah, 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 and you're like, what is it?
Stop saying that name!
Yeah, and you're just like,
oh, God.
I was like, can someone just, like, get a flashlight? Like, a glow stick? Even the little ones you wear as a necklace, you know what I mean? Something, I can't see shit, you know?
Seriously.
But, yeah, so I think that's all we have to say about that, just because I'm like, we've talked for like 30 minutes about this movie.
It was a good movie.
I mean, yeah, it's fine. No, it's just usually if I'm talking, oh my God, actually, no, 47 minutes. Usually if I'm talking this long about movies, it's because it fucking sucks. So it's kind of like funny that, but we also went on funny little tangents.
So let's break it down real quick.
Break it down. Overall?
Acting on all the actors' parts.
Yes.
Top notch.
I liked it. I really did.
Set design.
Oh yeah, it was good.
Yes, this one here was jizzing on every new set she saw.
Well, I also kept being like, did you see the detail of this? Did you see the detail of that? You know, because I'm that bitch, you know? Yes.
That.
Yeah.
Next. Script. Great.
Yeah, it made sense.
Made sense.
I know that's a very low bar.
Next. Character development,
yeah.
Top notch. Like, it had beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It did cue the third act music, which usually is a bad thing because there are a lot of movies that have to like tell you it's a third act. But when this cued the third act music, it was like, yeah! It was like a more of like, we're doing this kind of thing. Funny enough, not to constantly compare it, but kind of like in an Endgame thing. We're like, we're doing this, you know, kind of thing. I like this Batsuit design because, again, it's the beginning. You know what I mean? He's just starting out. So it's not bad of a Batsuit, you know?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say next. Props.
Yeah, the prop stuff. Again, that
special effects, all that stuff.
The Batmobile. The new Bat bike.
The Bat bike was nice.
At the end.
Yes, that got me all in a tizzy.
Oh, his little nippy. Bing. It's a little code in this room suddenly. Bing. Right. Just one. Right. Not the other one. When it's two, that's it's a little intense. Yeah, everything was great. The makeup was great. The wardrobe was fine. You know, like, oh God, we didn't even mention John Turturro was in this movie. I didn't even realize he was in this movie. And then and then all I heard was a voice, and I was like, motherfucking John Turturro. Yeah,
the very distinct voice.
Well, it's the New York accent. You know. Yeah. Oh, I think those dudes were in the restaurant with us. And then I like that he kept his shades on the entire time because bad guys always wear shades even indoors.
Yeah.
In a club scene, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought that was great. Oh, the technology, the eye, the contact lens thing.
Oh, the camera and the eye.
Yeah. So he has to record.
He has to record.
I like the narration part where he's like, some days I have to was it force myself to remember what happened last night, right. And because it's because you beat up a bunch of children, technically speaking, or that you saw something horrific and then you have to document it, get your headlight fixed, one of them isn't on. But anyway, let's end it on that because we are running at
great movie, go see it, don't bootleg it, peace.
Yeah, for real.